People say, money reveals who you truly are. But in this family, money didn't just reveal them. It destroyed them. This is the story of 4 siblings. 2 daughters. 2 sons. Raised under one powerful man. A man whose death uncovered a secret. That changed everything. Chief Edwin Ockery was not just rich. He was feared, respected, and untouchable. From oil contracts to real estate, his name alone could open doors. People bowed when he walked in. Even politicians called him brother. But inside his mansion, things were not as perfect. He had 4 children. Michael, the first son, calm but proud. David, the second son, reckless and entitled. Sandra, the first daughter, intelligent but quiet. Amara, the last born, soft-hearted and observant. And then there was their mother, Mrs. Helen Ockery, a woman who knew more than she ever said. From childhood, the house was already divided. The boys believed one thing: we are the heirs. Michael carried himself like a king in training. David lived like he already owned everything. The girls were treated differently. Sandra buried herself in books. She became a lawyer. Amara stayed close to her mother, always watching, always listening. One night, when Amara was just 14, she overheard something. Her parents were arguing. Not loudly, but seriously. Her father said, "They are not ready to know the truth." Her mother replied, "If you die without telling them, this family will scatter." That night, Amara couldn't sleep. Because deep down, she knew something was wrong. It happened suddenly. Chief Edwin collapsed in his office. By the time they rushed him to the hospital, he was gone. Just like that, the mighty man was no more. The house that once felt powerful now felt empty. But grief didn't last long, because just days after the burial, the tension began. Before we go any further, if this story already has you hooked, take 2 seconds right now. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this one is going to go places you are not expecting. Trust me. Stay with it. Michael called a family meeting. He sat at the head of the table, like his father used to. As the first son, I will take over Dad's businesses. David nodded. Of course, that's how it's done. Sandra frowned. Excuse me, since when did we become invisible? Michael looked at her like she said something stupid. Sandra, you're a woman. That sentence changed everything. Amara spoke softly. But we are his children too. David laughed. Then go and inherit kitchen. Silence. Cold silence. Their mother sat there, watching, saying nothing. A week later, the family lawyer arrived. Everyone gathered. This was the moment. The reading of the will. The room was heavy with expectation. Michael sat confidently. David looked excited. Sandra crossed her arms. Amara held her mother's hand. The lawyer cleared his throat. Late Chief Edwin Ockery left behind a detailed will. Everyone leaned in. Then he continued. And what he read changed everything. All my properties, businesses, and assets are to be equally shared among my 4 children. Michael's face changed. David slammed the table. Impossible. Sandra looked shocked. Amara confused. But that wasn't all. The lawyer continued. However, the position of chairman and head of family will not go to any of my sons. Silence. Dead silence. It will go to my first daughter, Sandra. Explosion. David stood up immediately. This is a lie. Michael's voice turned cold. Read that again. The lawyer repeated it, word for word. Sandra herself looked stunned. Me. Then came the final part. The part no one was ready for. The lawyer hesitated. Then read slowly. The reason for this decision is a truth I have hidden for many years. Everyone froze. Michael is not my biological son. It felt like the air left the room. Michael laughed nervously. What nonsense is that? But the lawyer didn't stop. And David, pause, was adopted. Boom. Everything shattered. Michael stood up violently. This is fake. My mother should speak now. All eyes turned to Mrs. Helen. She didn't speak. She didn't deny it. She simply closed her eyes. And that was confirmation. David looked lost. Adopted, me. Sandra was speechless. Amara started crying. So all this time, their entire identity was a lie. Their mother finally spoke. Her voice was calm, but heavy. Your father loved all of you, but the truth is complicated. She looked at Michael. I was pregnant before I met your father. Michael stepped back slowly. So he knew. Yes, and he accepted you as his own. Then she turned to David. You were found, abandoned as a baby. Your father brought you home. David sat down. Broken. So I never had a real family. No, she said gently. You had one, we are your family. Tears filled the room. Michael was angry. But deep down, he knew the truth now. His claim to power was gone. David felt lost. He didn't even know who he was anymore. Sandra now held the power, but she didn't celebrate. She simply said, this is not what I wanted. Amara looked at her. But maybe it's what we need. The days that followed were ugly. Michael refused to accept Sandra as head. David became reckless. He started selling assets secretly. Arguments turned into shouting. Shouting turned into threats. At one point, Michael said, if I can't have it, nobody will. That was when things got dangerous. Amara, the quiet one, finally spoke up. She called a meeting. For the first time, she stood strong. We are destroying ourselves. Nobody spoke. Dad didn't make Sandra head because she's a woman, or because we are not his blood. She paused. He did it because she is the only one who can keep this family together. Silence. Deep silence. Even Michael listened. Sandra stepped forward. I don't want to control anyone. She looked at her brothers. I just want peace. David broke down. I don't even know who I am anymore. Sandra walked to him. You are our brother. That is enough. Michael turned away, fighting tears. Slowly, things began to change. Michael apologized. David stopped his reckless behavior. The siblings began to work together. Not perfectly, but better. Sandra led with calm strength. Amara became the emotional glue. And their mother finally found peace. Months later, they gathered again. Not to fight, but to reflect. Amara said something simple. Maybe the real thing Dad left us wasn't money. Sandra nodded. It was truth. Michael added quietly. And a second chance. David smiled. To be a real family. In the end, the biggest secret didn't destroy them. It saved them. Because sometimes, blood doesn't make a family. Truth does. And love is the only inheritance that truly lasts. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional stories like this. And drop a comment, did Chief Edwin Ockery make the right decision by not revealing everything to the wife and children until his will was read? I want to know what you think. See you in the next one.